Hello and welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about how the matrix works. And so today I'm going to give you a short overview of what we're going to be talking about in this module. And this is going to allow you to prime the ideas and get the key words necessary to understand what we're going to be talking about. I do encourage that you watch these videos over after you have watched them through one time. Watch it again and again until the concept seeps into your subconscious. Sometimes on the surface, we receive one particular understanding. And then as we go back through, we find the little intricacies in which it applies to our life and the hidden nuggets that are within what is being said. And we are now reading between the lines, or in this case, reading between the words, so that you can really get the knowledge that is being given. I also encourage you to look into the handouts for this module and to thoroughly go through the exercises and to do them daily or weekly, okay, until you have gotten this down. I do suggest that until you fully have immersed yourself into this module, not to move upon the next, for each module builds onto itself, okay? So let us begin. All right, so in this module, we're first going to be talking about densities. Now, the matrix is built off of densities, okay? And there are thousands and probably millions of densities. How it was explained to me by source is there is a density for every individual that is currently on the planet. So if you think about that, there are so many densities that we can be on at any given time. And based on where we are born into a certain density based on our lineage, and our generational curses were passed down to us from those individuals, from our ancestors, from all of that stuff. That is going to put us at a specific density, at a specific vibrational environment that we are born into. Now, when you are born into a specific density, it doesn't mean that you hold the energy of that density yet, right? We learn everything that we learn when it comes to generational curses. Those are all learned behaviors. Those are all enticed behaviors. Some of our generational curses are genetic, and that has to do with physical trauma or mental emotional trauma that has happened to our ancestors during their lifetime. And that takes a little bit more internal reworking, but it is easier to rework those things once we have gotten through the learned understanding and the learned behaviors. So an example between a learned behavior and a genetic behavior is something like a learned behavior is feeling like your words don't matter, right? Not being able to speak up for yourself, set boundaries, right? And then a genetic behavior would be something like being predisposed to having diabetes type 2. Now, what goes with diabetes type 2 is the learned behavior of using food as an emotional crutch to problems that are over your coping mechanism. So I hope that makes sense, because type 2 diabetes is completely preventable, but because you have so many initial triggers in the emotional body on how you eat and how you function, that they can slide together in the right perfect way earlier or easily in life for you to get this ailment in the physical body. I hope that makes sense. So when we are looking at the densities, our densities are going to be how we were born in and how we navigate through each density as we level up our energy in our lives. Then we're going to talk about levels. So levels are basically the separate densities in which we go through in order to go about our lives to shift into certain mindsets, certain understandings. So, for example, say that you were born on a density that was systemic in poverty and disempowerment, right? And your ultimate goal is to go from poverty to empowerment, enlightenment, and financial stability, right? These are two different levels, but there are levels in the in between. So you have to stair step your way into these levels. And you can see some people who have stair stepped a bit in these levels, but because of a shift in their mentality, they were able to skip levels and end up here early. The problem with these people is they don't make the mental, emotional shift necessary. So they go through a back catalog of lessons all at one time, right here. And it hurts a lot, okay? So what we have to do is understand this is how the matrix works. When we understand how we level up and what each level provides and what do we do to master each level and each lesson and get to that final boss in which we are able to ascend up that pillar of light that allows us to elevate into the next level. We will learn each intricacy in that module. Our last module that we will have in this section is going to be timelines. So in this, we're going to be talking about your timelines. How do you shift timelines? What does that even mean? What is a timeline? So let me give you a little bit of understanding, right? Timelines are actually a way for you to shift your path in a specific direction that is in alignment with your destiny. If any of you know of any of my content anywhere, I always say there are many ways to God, and our journey here on earth is from the birth to source. By coming interconnected with source, we are then co-creating until our end death, where we reunite with source. And the end of this physical existence is then transformed. And so when we are in this particular elevation, in this cycle, in this fractal understanding of our lives, what we are doing is each time that we set a new goal or we decide, I don't want to work here anymore. I want to work for myself. I want to have my own business. I want to be able to make money. Then you get here and you're like, well, now I would like to have more investments because I have a business or I have multiple businesses and that's worked out, but I'd like to be more financially free, not having to work all the time. Then you will shift this way. And what that's going to allow you to do is gain the materials, the knowledge, the understanding, the mindsets, the habits, everything that you need. This is going to help you get the understanding, the materials, and all the information that is necessary, the mindset shifts, the emotional shifts, the boundaries necessary in order for you to attain that in your life. I hope that this makes sense. So when we are shifting timelines, we're not necessarily shifting density. Okay, that's different. When we are shifting timelines, we are simply shifting direction of which pillar will take us to the next level. And if you think of this like a video game, right? If we're thinking like a video game, there are multiple final bosses, and the final boss depends on what your final goal on this lesson is. And I will give you a personal example. So I had a personal goal of opening up a successful business, right? And I was just super excited. I was like, yo, I'm going to do this. This is going to be awesome. And in that journey, I had to understand the ins and outs of having a physical business with a physical product, of having a social media based business, having services and selling services and physical products. Not only that, I had to go through the downfall of not listening to my intuition, trusting myself when it comes to certain business decisions, listening to other people even though I knew that wasn't the right decision for me, or moving out of the way when people would say certain things and starting to trust myself and do the things that felt necessary to myself and made me feel more intact and more in a place where I could truly, truly, truly believe in who I am and where I am going with my life. And so just like you can do this and you can step right into this amazing place in your life where you can elevate yourself and allow yourself to understand the fabric of things, and then being able to mold your reality based on those goals, based on that perception that you are shifting out of and into something brand new, something more whole, something holistic just for you. And I know that was a roundabout way of saying we are learning how the universe works so that we can learn how to make it work for us. Okay? And so, in the way that we have to make it work is so simple, but there's so much intricacy, and it makes it easier for us to take, say, for example, you will learn in a few modules down the 12 universal principles and how they work in conjunction with this concept. And when you learn how to apply the laws to the way the road works, oh my God, now you know how to get to a destination, don't you? And you know how to bring that energy in more clearly and concisely and more intentionally. I hope that makes sense. And I'm all about getting results. So in this next part, we are going to show you how this works. And then in the following lessons, you're going to learn how to get actual results at the beginning and the initiatory phase, which is something we usually leave for the adept, for the intermediate student. But I want you to understand how you're unconsciously manifesting your life and why it is impossibly crucial that you stop doing it unconsciously today. Okay, so once you realize what you're doing unconsciously, you can start to consciously become aware of what you're doing and then start to slowly change these things over time. You will learn everything that you need to know here going forward in this process of transformation, but I tend to put the bulk of this information in the front. So when we start doing this shadow work to get you to where you need to go, you understand the mechanics of how you're going to get there. I hope that this video was in alignment with your understanding and allowed you to get a good consensus and a good understanding of what we're going to be talking about in the next few modules and lessons. I love you so much. May the love and the light of the greater I am be with you. May Tehuti open your mind and allow the knowledge to seep deeply into your soul for a higher state of understanding and understanding without the complication and the over understanding of overstanding. My friends, please wipe that off, okay? We don't need you to overstand. We need you to understand, okay? Overstanding creates confusion, okay? So I hope that you had an amazing day, and I hope that the next lessons enlighten you and make you feel more aware of your reality. Please note that these things can be very large concepts and it can be overwhelming, but you got this. And if you ever just feel like I need a little bit more than what's being given, or you have questions, please feel free to go down to the get help or contact us and just send us an email, and I will get back to you as soon as possible and we can get you right back on track with wherever you are in your understanding. So I love you, and may God continue to push you forward on your